Instantly recognizable by either his popping melodic bass lines or his highly charismatic vocal pronouncements, Bootsy Collins is both an all-time great funk and R&B musician and a consummate character. Catapulted to fame in his late teens as a member of the JBs, Collins became a pupil of James Brown and was immediately crucial to the singer and bandleader's reshaping of soul into tight, hard funk at the dawn of the 70s. Remarkably, Collins was only getting started by the time he was accepted into the Parliament Funkadelic family, where he played a greater role as a songwriter and vocalist. He was central to the P-Funk hits, such as Up for the Downstroke in 1974 and Tear the Roof Off the Sucker in 1976. By the time he made another splash with I'd Rather Be With You, also in 76, his first big single as the head of Bootsy's rubber band. His discography as a leader and proper solo artist is set further apart by the gold LPs The Name Is Bootsy Baby, 1977, and Bootsy, Player of the Year, 1978, and the #1 R&B hit Bootzilla in 1978. Furthermore, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee has remained a constant collaborator for decades. He has worked extensively under an assortment of guises beside Bill Laswell and has initiated reciprocal relationships with scores of rap artists documented on animated solo albums extending from Fresh Outta P University, 1997, to The Power of One in 2020. Born in Cincinnati, William Earl Bootsy Collins started on guitar inspired by Jimi Hendrix and his older brother Phelps Catfish Collins. When the bassist in Catfish's band was a no-show, the younger Collins substituted and stuck with his new instrument. The Collins brothers became the nucleus of the Pacemakers, a unit that also included vocalists Philip Wynne, later of Spinner's fame. The band made the local King Records their adoptive home base and established themselves as a session and live band for label artists such as Hank Ballard, Marva Whitney, and Lynn Collins. When most of James Brown's road band bailed before a 1970 gig in Columbus, Georgia, the Godfather of Soul sent Bobby Byrd on a jet to collect the Pacemakers as emergency replacements. They were soon absorbed into the band that became known as the JBs. Collins-inspired clever progressions and patterns were a vital part of Brown's subsequent hits such as Get Up, I Feel Like Being a Sex Machine, Superbad, Soul Power, and Talkin' Loud and Sayin' Nothing. The Collins brothers left the JBs in 1971 and in Cincinnati formed a core group that took a number of names: House Guest Rated X, and the Bootsy Phelps and Gary, among other variations, and released a handful of singles over the course of a few years. Most of these musicians, the Collinses included, moved up to Detroit and joined George Clinton's Funkadelic in 1972. Bootsy Collins would eventually pull double duty for Clinton with Parliament and went on to co-write numerous P-Funk classics, including the top 10 R&B hits Up for the Downstroke and Tear the Roof Off the Sucker. The chart-topping Flashlight during this run, Collins formed Bootsy's rubber band. The Spirited Ensemble emerged in 1976 with Fred Wesley, Maceo Parker, and Rick Gardner, also known as the Horny Horns, along with Catfish, Leslin Bailey, Gary Mudbone Cooper, Robert Peanut Johnson, and Frankie Cash, Frederick Flintstone Allen, all in the initial lineup. Collins featured his alter egos Bootzilla and Casper as part of the stage act. The band's debut LP, Stretching Out in Bootsy's Rubber Band, and their second release, The Name Is Bootsy Baby, equaled anything issued during Clinton's peak period for idiomatic diversity, clever, bizarre humor, and outrageous lyrics. Both Ah and the third LP, Bootsy, Player of the Year, peaked at number 16 on Billboard's overall albums chart and earned gold records from the IRAA. 9 of the band's singles reached R&B charts before the end of the 70s. The Pinocchio Theory went top 10. Bootzilla, one of Collins' signature songs, topped it. In the 80s, Collins recorded both with the Sweat Band, Bootsy's Rubber Band, under a new name, thanks to legal action taken by an obscure rubber band as the solo artist. He also did some special projects such as Bonzo Goes to Washington, a 1984 one-off collaboration with Talking Heads' Jerry Harrison that produced 5 minutes, featuring Ronald Reagan declaring nuclear war in the Soviet Union. In 1988, he returned on Columbia with What's Bootsy Doin'? The set's Shock It To Me was co-written and co-produced by the prolific Bill Laswell, with whom Collins formed a close and lasting alliance. Across 1989 and the early 90s, Collins led the Bootzilla Orchestra on Malcolm McLaren's Waltz Darling, became a featured guest of dance music trio D-Light, heard on the top 10 pop hit Groove Is in the Heart, and toured with a group co-led by longtime partners Maceo Parker and Fred Wesley. Bootsy's Rubber Band reappeared during this period with Jungle Bass, a Laswell-assisted EP cut for 4th and Broadway. A vast array of projects involving Laswell arrived throughout the end of the 90s. These included Praxis's Transmutation and sacrificed Bootsy's new rubber band's 2-disc Blasters of the Universe, Zillotron's Lord of the Harvest, and Axiom's Funk's Funkchromicon. Additionally, Collins waxed Fresh Outta P University, a 1997 album with roles for rappers including MC Lyte, Rodney O, and Drew Brown, as well as many P-Funk associates. Around the time it was released, Collins was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of Parliament Funkadelic. As the 21st century opened, Collins' profile was maintained with touring, reissues, and other catalog titles, such as the Rhino label's 2001 double disc Glory Be to Funk's on Me, the Bootsy Collins Anthology. Additionally, Collins has provided the vocals for Fatboy Slim's Weapon of Choice, and finally becoming a Grammy winner when the song's video, depicting only a dancing Christopher Walken, won the 2001 award for Best Short Form Music Video. New studio albums in the 2000s were limited to 2002's Play with Bootsy and 2006's Christmas Is Forever. Meanwhile, Collins was in the experimental metal band Science Faction and was part of a couple Fred Wesley endeavors. The musicians' freely collaborative ways continued throughout the 2010s, marked by the Funk Capital of the World and Worldwide Funk. Adventurous solo flights issued respectively in 2011 and 2017. As a Parliament Funkadelic alum, Collins has given a Lifetime Achievement Award by the Recording Academy in 2019. He added to his solo discography the next year with The Power of the One. Thank you for watching.